ready for some football. I don't know about you. Who else could it be but your man Lou? Yeah.
The Louie T Network is powered by MusicHead University. MusicHeads, classes in session. Turn me up. Enroll on YouTube now. Link is in the description.
Who else could it be? For me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to Thursday Night Football overtime. Jets, Patriots. If these two teams said they ain't did it, then they ain't did it. But if they did, well, that's AFC East family business. And it went exactly the way that I thought it would go. Jets hung in early. Patriots pulled away late. They kept this game competitive for a lot longer than I thought they would. I thought the Patriots defense really let me down tonight from a betting standpoint. And just overall, I thought they would play better. I thought they would hold Justin Fields in this offense down a lot better. And not to say that they were gashed tonight, but I didn't think Justin Fields would throw for over 100 yards. I didn't think the Jets would score 2 touchdowns. I thought the Jets would have to settle for field goals, which they never had to tonight. And so if not for a fumble deep in their own territory, the Patriots, I don't know if they get that last field goal. Maybe they do because the Jets could have easily gone 3 and out, punted. Patriots ended up with good field position, couple of passes from Maye. Boom, they're back in the red zone. They could have easily scored a touchdown or gotten a field goal, whatever the case may be. This game never felt like the Jets were going to win, but it never felt like it was out of reach either. You just didn't expect the Jets to be able to do what it took to win this football game. Patriots get the win 27-14, run their record to 9-2 on the season. NFL best 9-2 on the season. Meanwhile, the Jets fall to 2-8 as their tough season continues, snaps their 2-game win streak. Patriots now have won 8 in a row. Drake Maye was fantastic tonight, but what's new? This is what he's been all season for the most part. Another high completion percentage night, well in control, and I thought he was just masterful at the line of scrimmage, dissecting what the Jets were doing pre-snap. Then once the ball was snapped, I thought he was just cool, calm, and collected in the pocket, under total control, really showed the ability to hang tough in the pocket and, kind of do whatever he wanted to do. And if things didn't, fit for him while in the pocket, things were taking too long to develop, he simply got out, used his legs to create as a passer, not really much of a runner tonight, but made plays outside of the pocket as a passer. And so he was outstanding tonight. The supporting cast did what they've done for the most part this season. Mac Hollins with a big night. Same thing could be said for Stephon Diggs, who had a baby today. Congratulations to him. So he went over 100 yards tonight. But the big story tonight was TreVeyon Henderson with the hat trick, 3 touchdowns, 2 on the ground, another receiving. Every touchdown that the Patriots scored tonight was due to TreVeyon Henderson's play. So he had a big night coming off of a big week last week in which he scored 2 touchdowns. That's 5 touchdowns for the rookie in 2 weeks. So he's been cooking, and so has this Patriots team overall. And so let's start with the Patriots. I pretty much laid out everything already in that just brief intro there. Drake Maye, spectacular yet again. Over 70% completion percentage, if I'm not mistaken, 74% tonight. Came in 72% completion percentage on the season. So he helps bolster that number a little bit tonight. Another big passing night. I don't know if he eclipsed 300, but he was damn close. I know that much at one point. So another outstanding night throwing the football. They remained somewhat balanced, but it was really the Drake Maye show tonight. Him just tossing the football all around the yard against this Jets defense. And he was really, really sharp. The offensive line, I thought, did a really good job. I mean, he had time tonight, plenty of time to survey the field and figure out where he wanted to go with the football. I thought the Jets would be a little bit more aggressive coming after him. They weren't, and he made them pay. That offensive line held up, and he made them pay time and time again. It could have been worse. He puts one on the money to Mac Hollins down the field, and it's a great play by Brandon Stevens to knock it out of his hands. But, if that's caught, you're talking about another 45, 50 yards added to his total. And so Maye was, again, he was ridiculously good, which is what we knew was going to happen against this Jets defense. Travion Henderson, as I mentioned, not like huge numbers on the ground rushing wise, but when it mattered the most, he was what they needed down in the red zone. 3 touchdowns, as I mentioned, 2 on the ground, 1 receiving. Defensively, they did what they needed to do. The first drive was a bit like, what? Really? You're gonna let them go down the field and do that? But that wasn't sustainable. All of that, you know, I think the Jets' first drive was 14 plays. I think 13 of them were runs. Like, that wasn't sustainable. The Patriots, who came in as the #1 rush defense in the league, weren't going to allow them to continue to run the football that way the entire night. And I was a little bit surprised how much Fields was involved in the run game, because this looked like early season Fields when he was heavily involved in the run game. Then he got a couple of concussions, and that stopped. So I wasn't expecting Fields to be such a heavy part of the run game. So much zone read tonight. The Patriots defended it well enough. They didn't defend it early well, adjusted, defended it better as the game wore on, and ultimately were able to really bottle him up. We know Fields isn't much of a passer, and there were opportunities. You know, one drop, a big one by Adonai Mitchell. Then there was a back shoulder throw that could have been a lot better to an open Adonai Mitchell. They were clearly trying to get him involved in this game. They threw a slant to him early on that first possession. I think the first possession was 14 plays. 2 of them were passes, because they had the slant to Adonai Mitchell, and they had one of those tight end stop routes to Mason Taylor. So for the most part, the Patriots didn't give anything up big. After that opening drive, they really settled in. Jets made it easy by not taking advantage of some opportunities that did present themselves. And once they got comfortable defensively and the offense put up a couple points, they were able to kind of just cruise in this game. They were never really threatened, because this Jets offense doesn't threaten you. And so they were never, ever really put in a position with real game pressure, other than after trailing after the first drive. But they handled that well, as a team that is now 9-2 on the season should. And they really never looked back after taking the lead 14-7, ultimately taking the extending that lead to 21-7. And the Jets did climb back within 7 at 21-14 with the touchdown to John Mechie. But they put together a drive, got a field goal, put together another drive, recovered a fumble, and turned that into another field goal. So all around solid performance. The probably one, downer tonight is the defensive tackle that they got from Philadelphia. He went down in the first quarter with an injury, did not return to the game. They ruled him out. Eventually, it looked like he wanted to come back, had his helmet on, was on the sidelines. So I thought he was coming back. And then we later find out he's not back. As a matter of fact, he's out for the game. And hopefully it's nothing serious with him. And Andy Bargales missed a kick. Those probably are your 2 negatives tonight. If there were any real negatives to take from the game, there weren't really many things you could nitpick at. This is what you do against divisional opponents. You just find a way to win. And this is not a Jets team that forces you to exert a ton of energy while doing that. So do what you need to do to win, but win comfortably. You don't want to be in a stressful situation against a team that's got 2 wins on the season. That's what they did tonight. So kudos to the Patriots for playing the kind of football that lends itself. And you saw the schedule tonight. It's a very favorable schedule, one that lends itself to this team finishing the season 14-3, 13-4, and right in the mix for the #1 overall seed. They've got 2 tough games remaining on the schedule: Baltimore and Buffalo. That is it. All the rest of the games are against sub 500 opponents who aren't very good, that they should be able to beat, that they will be favored against. This Patriots team, again, I don't see them, advancing too far into the postseason. I don't. But they're going to be dangerous. They are going to be a tough out. I will tell you that. They are going to be a tough out. I want to see them against Baltimore. If Baltimore is who we think they are by the time they get to them, Baltimore will have had a winning record. They'll be hot by then, at least in my mind. I want to see them in that game. And then obviously Buffalo understands what's at stake. They're going to probably have to win out to win that division again for the fourth, fifth straight year, whatever it is for Buffalo that they're looking to try to achieve. This Patriots team is not going to make it easy on them. They've already gone to Orchard Park and won. So they've got to now return the favor and go to Foxborough and win. And like I said, they basically got to win out because they're going to need help. They're going to have to beat the Patriots themselves, and they're going to need help. They're going to need Baltimore to beat them. And they're probably going to need somebody else to sneak them. And they're going to have to basically win out at this point. So Patriots are sitting in the driver's seat. They may get a home playoff game this year. It feels like they're going to get a home playoff game this year. But they're going to have to continue to play the type of football that they've played throughout the first half of this season on the back end. And if they do that, they're going to be in contention for the #1 overall seed in the AFC. Who would have thought that would be the case after this team lost to the Vegas Raiders at home in week 1? Who thought that the Patriots 10 weeks later, after a week 1 loss to a Raiders team that we didn't think would be very good this year, and we were right about them. Who would have thought that 10 weeks later, they'd have the best record in football at 9-2? Not me. Not this guy. What a job Mike Vrabel has done, and he is squarely in the middle of the NFL Head Coach of the Year conversation. Almost feels like if this continues, that's in the bag for him. And Drake Maye, you heard the crowd chanting MVP, MVP multiple times throughout this game. He feels like he's in the midst of an MVP race as well. So this Patriots team playing some really good football. And that's the most important part of what I just said. This Patriots team, this is a real NFL outfit. They've put together a quality roster around Drake Maye, a real team, defensively, special teams, offense. They've put together a good team around him. And they spent a lot of money this offseason, did the Patriots, but it's paying off. And so far, so good for Mike Vrabel in year 1 of his tenure as New England Patriots head coach. They are 9-2 after the 27-14 win over the Jets tonight. You go to the Jets side of things, I mean, there's not really much for me to say here. We've seen the Jets multiple times on primetime this season. I don't know why, but I feel like we've watched them too many times, right? I think we've seen them now 3 times on primetime, if I'm not mistaken. I know we saw them earlier this season against the Dolphins on a Monday night on a doubleheader. I feel like we saw them again. Probably, maybe we didn't. It just feels like I've watched the Jets too many times this season. I don't want to watch them anymore. This is the worst offense in football by far and away. And there's some pretty rough offenses. No one even comes close to the Jets offense. I was disappointed because I had my, ticket that I put together on Sleeper earlier that didn't hit. And I saw it wasn't going to hit. I could see where the game was going, and I talked about the Patriots defense letting me down. We'll talk about that when we get to the Sleeper ticket that I put together in the skill game a little bit later on. But I saw where that was going, so I did an in-game bet to try and offset the loss that was coming to see if I could still come out on top. And one of the things that was on that in-game bet was Fields under 100 yards. And at that time, at halftime, I think he was at like 23 yards passing. I'm like, there's no way he's getting to 100. I felt so confident about that. And he ends up getting to like 116. And I blame the Pat's defense for that. He had no business getting over 100 yards. And it was that stop that they didn't get that allowed him to get over the century mark. And then I think if they would have forced him to punt there, there was about 6 minutes and 30 seconds left. I still had a chance to hit the other 2 in-game legs that I needed. And it wasn't a lot. I just needed a Hunter Henry 6-yard catch, and I needed a Kyle Williams 4-yard catch. Those were 2 things that I thought I could get on that final drive had they forced them to punt. And there was a chance for a sack there. The defender, doesn't wrap him up. He gets away, he runs for the first down. He was still 16 yards short of 100 at that time. He finds John Mechie for like 20 yards or something, and that killed that. So I was disappointed in the Patriots defense tonight from a standpoint of just allowing them to. This is an offense that hadn't had 100 yards passing in just about every game this season. They've only had over 100 yards passing in 3 games. First game of the season against Pittsburgh, the game against Dallas, and the game against Cincinnati. Go figure, 2 of those 3 teams are the worst defenses in football. Bengals are 32nd, Dallas is 31st. So that's when he's had success. Other than that, he's been under 100 yards passing every single week, and he should have been under 100 again this game, but they didn't get it done. But I was really surprised, and I said this already, but I'll reiterate it, that he was such a big part of the run game because I wanted to put him on my ticket as a runner, but he hadn't been running lately. I've watched all of these Jet games, and since he got those concussions and had to miss some time, he's scaled back his involvement, and really the offensive play caller has scaled back his involvement in the run game. But he too has been conscious of not running as much, rather taking, check downs. He didn't do that tonight, which killed my ticket because instead of him checking it down to Davis, out of the backfield, he took off and ran. Instead of him hanging in the pocket and not liking what he's seeing downfield, he's throwing it to Adonai Mitchell. It's not complete, but he's got someone to go to, throw the football to. And again, the pressure wasn't there. It wasn't on him to force him to, not like what he sees, panic, and then check it down. So he was able to stand back there confidently and throw it. It wasn't complete, but the Patriots defensively didn't do what I needed them to do tonight. Breece Hall is so good. He deserves better. He had a really solid night with no pass game. For him to run the way that he ran tonight against the #1 rush defense in football, I think he might have eclipsed 70 yards rushing, which is a really tough thing to do with an offense that features no pass game whatsoever. Like, if I'm playing the Jets, I'm loading up to stop Breece Hall. And they did that, and he still was able to have some success throughout the course of the night. So he continues to be one of the few bright spots on a rather morbid offense this season. Again, there's not really much to say about the Jets. This is who they've been this season. What was really funny was listening to their head coach, Aaron Glenn, at halftime talk about how we haven't even played our best football tonight, and we're only down 7. Now we're just going to turn it up, play our best game, play our game, and we should be fine. And I'm looking at him sideways like, this guy is delusional. Play our best game, turn it up. This is who you are. You're lucky to have a touchdown. What are you talking about? You'll be lucky if you score again. Turn it up. We haven't played our best game yet. Oh, Aaron Glenn is a hoot. Oh, man. Anyway, I digress. So, with that said, let's get to the skill game brought to you by Sleeper. Take a look at the ticket and talk about how it did not cash tonight.
The skill game brought to you by Sleeper.
Sleeper is a fantasy sports and real money gaming app that focuses on bringing people together through sports and gaming. Sleeper has become the fastest organically growing fantasy platform in the world with over 10 million active users in 2025. You can become one of them by simply clicking on the link in the description of this video. That will take you to where you can download the app. Make sure Sleeper is available in your area. It's available in over 30 states in the US. Once you've verified you are who you say you are, they're going to give you $20 free. Then I would advise you to use my promo code LTN to get you an additional amount of money. After you deposit, on your first deposit, they're going to give you 100% match on whatever that is, up to $100. That's right, a dollar for dollar match. So my advice is to just put in 100, since that's what you can max it out at. They're going to match that $100, give you an additional 100. That's going to give you 220 when you combine the 20 they're just going to give you for becoming a member of the Sleeper family. $220 can take you a long way. So with that said, let's take a look at what I did tonight. So this was the ticket I put together with you guys earlier today. And as you can see, Pop Douglas, it was a struggle for a while there because he wasn't in the game. So what I realized tonight watching the Patriots is they're gonna feature Kyle Williams, their rookie second, I think it was a second round pick out of Wazoo, either second or third round pick out of Wazoo, the receiver that they took with some speed. You can see they wanted to work him vertically throughout the course of the night. So he's basically taken all of Pop Douglas's reps. So Pop Douglas wasn't getting a lot of run. So I was worried that he wouldn't get, after the fourth down conversion on the first possession, Pop Douglas pretty much wasn't in the game. So I'm sitting there thinking, well, this ticket's probably dead just off the strength of Pop Douglas not getting involved. But he ultimately got his 2 catches, ended up with 3 for 36. Diggs, I was mulling over whether he'd be a big fixture tonight. I said, oh, what the hell? He ended up having a big night. Where I went wrong here was Davis out of the backfield. So he's a guy that usually Justin Fields looks for out of the backfield. He's their third down back. So a lot of times they take Breece Hall off the field, put him on the field, which you saw tonight. On the first possession, you saw 32 come in the game. They gave him a couple of carries, one on third down, another one on the very next play on first down. He got a couple of nice gains. And then Fields ended up keeping the zone read, scoring the touchdown, or they threw the slant rather to Adonai Mitchell. And then Fields kept the zone read. So I just was expecting him to catch the football out of the backfield because, again, when there's pressure, Fields' first inclination, if you can't get the ball to the tight end, which is where he's always looking to go, which they never throw the ball to the receivers, it feels like. Ruckert had a bunch of catches. So did Mason Taylor, which I knew Mason Taylor was going to be involved, but how involved? I think they had his number at 5. I wasn't comfortable with 5. If the number was 3.5, I would have taken Mason Taylor because I would have been comfortable with 4 catches. So Davis, I'm just thinking all I need is 2 catches. Of course, this was a night where Fields simply wasn't looking for the running backs, and he never threw him the football, not one single time. And so that was disappointing. But before I even got to that, Nick Folk had kicked 2 field goals basically every single game this season. And this is when I knew I was in trouble. The first possession of the game, Patriots had 3 different opportunities to get a stop that would have forced the Jets to kick a field goal. They gave up 3 third down conversions on that drive, including the slant on like a 3rd and 7 to Adonai Mitchell for the first down. And that's when I knew, oh, shit, they're going to score a touchdown. They get that stop. They're going to kick the field goal. And then I would have been fine. They would have kicked another one, right? The Patriots let them get down there twice and not have to settle for a field goal either time. The third time they went for it on 4th down because they were down. That's why I said you can't let this game get out of control. I need these field goals to be early when the game is still in the balance. That was the first possession. They had another possession when the game was at 21-7. They would have settled for the field goal then because there was still plenty of time in the game. And they give up the big touchdown to John Mechie. That was on a 3rd down as well where the defender falls down. So they didn't do their job defensively. I would have gotten the field goals, but Davis probably still would have screwed me here anyway. But what my hope was is that the Jets would have the ball right before the half. That would have put them in a 2-minute mode. That would have forced Isaiah Davis to be on the field. And that's when you get those checkdowns to the running back out of the backfield. They had the ball, but they didn't convert right before the 2-minute warning. Patriots got it back, and that was that. So that was what my head was. But then I said, okay, let me get some of this in-game action, right? So I was doubling down on Pop Douglas. I'm like, Pop's going to get his catches. At that time, the number was 15.5 at halftime. He only had 7 yards. I'm like, he's getting another catch, and it's going to be a significant one. So I doubled down on Pop Douglas. Breece Hall was running the football effectively. I think he had 36 yards at halftime. They set the number at 52. I'm like, he's getting 58 yards. He's running well. Or he's getting 53 yards. He's running well, which he did. I said they're making a concerted effort to get the rookie Kyle Williams the football. They're going to throw him a wide receiver screen, a hitch, something, a slant, a shallow cross. He's going to get something in this game. So it was just 4 yards. He had none at halftime. He had none for the game. It's just 4 yards. He's going to get the ball at some point. So I took him. Hunter Henry had 45 yards at halftime. They put the number at 50 and a half. He just needed 6 yards. He did not catch the ball a single time in the second half. I think the number was 37 at halftime. He had 37 yards receiving, and they set the number at 50 and a half. And he had one catch. And then there was another one he almost had over the middle on like a 2nd and 15 after a penalty, and it was knocked away. And that was the last time he got targeted. So that was a bummer. I really feel like, and then Fields at halftime at 23 yards, and they let this clown get over 100 yards passing. 101 was the number that he needed. He got to 116. They had a chance. Christian Barmore had a chance to sack this man on a 3rd down on a little twist inside. He just kind of bumps into him, but doesn't wrap him up. He gets away and runs for the 1st down, and then 2 plays later, he finds Mechie wide open, and that's what got him over 100. If he gets sacked there on that play, or at a bare minimum has to throw it away, the Patriots get the ball back with 6:45 left. I feel really confident that Kyle Williams and Hunter Henry are both going to cash this out for me. Fields doesn't see the field again, and if he does, it's not enough time for him to go over 100 yards passing. And this thing would have cashed out for me at $193, which would have been more than the amount that I actually would have won had my ticket that I put together here, as you can see, was 160 before the game. So the in-game bet would have been more profitable, and I felt really good about it. And again, I felt like the Patriots defense just screwed me over tonight. They didn't come through for me. They didn't force them to kick field goals. They had a chance to stop Fields from getting over 100 yards. They had a chance to stop Fields and the Jets offense from getting that 1st down that stopped the Patriots offense from getting back on that field one final time. With about 6 minutes, they still would have been in throw the football mode. Let's go down there. The fumble didn't help either by Justin Fields, which gave them another field goal. Even a punt there would have pushed the Patriots back. They would have still been throwing a football. So the Jets didn't help me, but the Patriots didn't help me either. So that was me on Sleeper tonight. As a wise man once told me, if it wasn't for bad luck, you wouldn't have luck at all. So another night where I feel like I handcrafted everything well. This wasn't a perfect handcrafted, ticket like I've had in the past where one leg didn't come to fruition. But this was a well-crafted ticket that still didn't come to fruition. So I'll get them next time, right? I'll get them next time. So that is going to do it for the skill game. Make sure you use my promo code LTN to get you a 100% match on your first deposit up to $100. Big shout out to Sleeper for sponsoring this stream.
The Skill Game, brought to you by Sleeper.
All right, so we will get to the comment section and see what you guys have to say. If there isn't much, we will get out of here. It's been a long day for the kid, and we will bounce. So I don't see any super chats. I was talking to Rio, and he asked, will we beat the Jets? We would beat the Jets. We will beat the Jets. The Jets, they're the worst. Them and the Titans are the two worst teams in football. I think the Jets might be worse than the Titans because at least the Titans can move the football, and they have a dynamic quarterback who can throw the football. Like, the Jets are so inept offensively. They're so one-dimensional that if we can't beat the Jets, if we couldn't beat the Jets, then we have serious problems. Even with our roster as it is right now, the Jets are terrible. There's no way we're losing to the Jets, bro. And I know our defense stinks, and Justin Fields has had success against defenses that look like the one we have in Dallas and Cincinnati. I don't care. They stink, man. There's no way we're losing to the Jets. Aaron Glenn is clueless as a head coach. Justin Fields is, I swear, I'm convinced he's a clone of a 1932 quarterback. He's a clone of a 1930s quarterback. He's not a real person, man. They created him in the lab, and he came straight out of the 1930s. There's no way we would lose to the New York Jets. I swear to you. We're good. We're good. Anyway, I digress. See. That was not great tackling, Sheree, from the Jets tonight. But, I mean, they just weren't good, period. The tackling wasn't the biggest problem. There were guys open throughout the course of the night. They didn't get pressure on Maye. That was the biggest issue with them tonight. Is they didn't get pressure on Drake Maye. So he was able to stand back there all day, and guys were able to uncover. That was their biggest issue. Samuel says, I hate that people are going to say we should have drafted Drake Maye. That to me, that's not a real conversation. Like, I talked about this. I can't speak for anybody else. I said that I thought all three of the guys that went 1, 2, 3 were all going to be good, and you couldn't go wrong with any of them. I was wrong about that because I'm not a big Caleb Williams fan right now. I'm not. But I told you, because we had the Civil War before the 2024 draft in Washington, and you were either Maye or you were either Jaden. I told you I thought Drake Maye had the highest upside of any quarterback in the draft. And I thought that Jaden Daniels' floor was higher than that of Caleb Williams or Drake Maye's. So I thought you were safer taking Jaden, but the upside of Drake Maye was greater than that. He's 21 years old, big arm, big, strong kid. There was a lot to like, comes from an athletic lineage. There's a lot to like about Drake Maye. He was just scratching the surface. So I felt like the upside on him was greater than that of Jaden Daniels, who was much older. But after seeing Jaden in his rookie season, there's a lot more to his game and a lot more layers that I didn't give him credit for. So I ultimately felt differently. But I said that Drake Maye is going to be awesome in this league, and you're seeing that. Like, there's no debate for me. I'm glad he is where he is. I'm glad that we have Jaden Daniels, and both teams are in their first 2 seasons have been wildly successful. Us last year and now the Patriots this year. The biggest difference that I see is that the Patriots weren't afraid to spend money in free agency this past offseason. They got the right coach in Mike Vrabel. And the beauty of them going and getting Josh McDaniels is that he's never getting a head coach job again. Like, he's tied to this Patriots organization for the 3rd and final time. You remember, he left the first time to go be the head coach of the Denver Broncos. He left the second time to go be the Indianapolis Colts job, and then he doubled back on them and then ended up leaving and going the following year to be the Raiders head coach, and that was a disaster. He's never getting another opportunity. So Vrabel not only is the perfect man for the job because he's a defensive-minded guy, but he's a great coach. He's also got an all-time offensive coordinator who's never going anywhere. So you don't have to worry about the upheaval of, man, what if Josh McDaniels gets an opportunity to go somewhere? He's not. He's an all-time coordinator now. So it's one of those like Andy Reid going out and getting Steve Spagnuolo. Spags isn't going anywhere, right? Spags is an all-time defensive coordinator. It's like Dick LeBeau with the Steelers for all those years with Bill Cowher, and it's Vic Fangio now in Philadelphia. I don't know how much longer he's going to do it because Vic Fangio's an older guy, but like, he's not getting another head coaching gig. You have a guy that's going to be your coordinator, and so you're set. That is not the case in Washington, obviously. And so it's a really good situation for Drake Maye. I said this earlier on Commanders Nightly News that it sucks because Drake Maye lives in a middle-class home, two-parent household, loving family. He's got all the amenities. It's a great life. Meanwhile, Jaden Daniels right now feels like he's in a foster home. Very dysfunctional situation. Mom wasn't able to take care of him, ended up in foster care. He's waiting for one of his relatives to come and adopt him. And so it's just not an ideal situation. Defense stinks. Supporting cast is trash. God, you just had to uproot your defensive coordinator because he was ass. See if your head coach can get it right for you. But even if he does, I mean, what does that lead to? Yeah, a lot of people have, dwindling faith in the GM right now, which I guess is warranted after 2 years of ho-humish transactions. They have talent. They spent the money. Our GM, he comes off as frugal. So I don't know. I said this on the show earlier. Drake Maye's in a really good situation. I would say of all the quarterbacks that were taken in last year's draft, the 6 in the first round, Drake Maye's in the best situation right now. That's not what I would have said 3 months ago. So I would have told you Jaden Daniels was in the best situation. That's not true. Patriots spent money this offseason. Patriots drafted some guys that I think are going to be some players for them. And the Patriots look the part. And you're seeing it. You're seeing it play itself out on the field. They've had a great schedule to allow them to do the things that they're doing. They haven't played a lot of good teams this season, but again, that's not anybody's fault. And when they did play a good team in Buffalo, what did they do? They went to Buffalo and they beat them. So this is a really good Patriots team right now. And they're built well. They spent money on Milton Williams. They spent money on Harold Landry. They spent money on Spillane, the linebacker, who I really love. They spent money on the offensive line. They drafted offensive linemen in the first round this year to protect Drake Maye. Like, they went out. I know Morgan Moses isn't sexy, but he stabilizes the right side of your offensive line until you can find a permanent solution. Like, they went out and they addressed things. They spent money where it had to be spent, and they're a different ball club now because of it. And they've got the right coach. They've got the right coach. So, got a super chat here from Smacky. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Smacky writes, Drake Maye play style is actually sustainable. Yeah, it is. Now, I will tell you, Drake Maye will hold on to the ball. You heard going into the game, one of the most sacked quarterbacks in the league this season. And I was shocked that the Jets didn't apply pressure because he will take sacks. You can get him to turn the ball over. He is loosey-goosey with the football in the pocket. Had a fumble last week against the Falcons that was very costly. He will throw the ball up for grabs and turn. Like, he should have been picked off tonight, threw it into double coverage, let the ball hang up there forever. The two Jet defenders fought over the football and ends up falling harmlessly to the ground. So you can force him into some mistakes. He will turn the ball over. He'll give you opportunities to force turnovers, but he doesn't play a reckless brand of football. Everything seems measured and controlled. Even when he runs, he's not, looking to get every single yard. He slides, he gets out of bounds. He'll take some hits, right? But ultimately, like you said, the way he plays the game is very, very sustainable. Smacky, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, JD5 play style will end up getting him hurt. It could. You can say the same thing about Lamar Jackson. They play exactly the same way. So it is what it is. Like, I don't cringe every time he runs, or I don't think about him getting hurt. Like, so many people, this isn't flag football. Like, Jaden's not out here playing like Jackson Dart, where he's throwing his body around, trying to jump over people, getting slammed down on the ground. That's not what Jaden's doing. He's just playing football. So, it is what it is. I don't worry about Jaden getting hurt. I don't. That's not something that I worry about. I worried about Robert Griffin III when he was our quarterback getting hurt because he didn't have the peripheral vision to feel pressure when it was around him in the pocket. He wasn't a football player that had speed. He was a track guy that happened to be able to play football. He wasn't a football player with track speed. So his body, his frame wasn't, built for hits. And even if you've got a frame that isn't powerful, like Jaden's doesn't have a powerful frame, he's got a wiry frame, right? Which we've seen, it's bailed him out multiple times last year and even this year, even with the elbow. He's Gumby. I've talked about that. He's got that flexibility, right? Robert never had that. He was breakable. He didn't see hits when they were coming, so he would get lambasted, right? Jaden sees these things. The only time he got hit when he didn't see it was when he turned around worried about Michael Parsons chasing him and got hit on his knee. And that was his fault for being nosy, worried about Parsons catching him from behind and not seeing where the hit was coming from in front of him. But ultimately, he knows how to get down. He knows how to slide. He knows how to get out of bounds. I think Jaden's play style is sustainable. We just got to get him weapons so he doesn't have to run as much. He's going to run. That's a part of his game. But he's had to run way too much this year. Part of it is he's not seeing the field well, right? And again, that all traces back to lack of reps in practice. He's a big-time practice reps guy. And if he's not getting those reps, you see it play itself out on the field. This season was doomed from the start because he didn't get the reps he needed with the starters, and those guys getting hurt and then him getting hurt so early in the season threw off any type of opportunity for them to get those reps throughout the weeks in practice, and never got back on track. And it's not going to, I don't think, get back on track at all this season. And if it does, it'll be like very late in the season. They'll need about 3 or 4 weeks together practicing to get to where they need to be, I believe. And it's just not going to happen in enough time for it to gel this year. But I got hope for the future. You know what I mean? I got hope for the future. So anyway, I digress. That's going to do it for me, your man Louie T, here on this Thursday night football overtime. Patriots get it done 27-14 and improve to an NFL best 9-2 on the season. They have clinched a winning record for the season after 2 straight 4-13 campaigns. They are already at 9 wins this season and have the highest probability for the #1 seed in the AFC right now. And based off of their schedule, I would say it is a real possibility. I do not think the Indianapolis Colts are going to have a better record than this New England Patriots team. I do not think the Buffalo Bills are going to have a better record than this team, meaning I think the Patriots are going to win the AFC East now. And I don't think anybody else is going to catch them. Chargers aren't going to sustain the success that they're having. The Chiefs aren't going to get red hot and catch them. I believe they may end up having the #1 seed and a first-round bye. I still don't think they get out of the divisional round, even if that occurs. But what a turnaround. What a turnaround for Mike Vrabel and this Patriots organization. Some organizations, man, are blessed. Patriots had a 20-year unprecedented run with the B&B winning factory. They have, a few down years. Remember, when Brady left, Mac Jones came in as a rookie, and they went to the playoffs that first year. Then they had a couple of rough years with Belichick. They go 4-13, 2 straight seasons. The last year of Belichick, the first year or the next year with Drake Maye, and then now you're back. Some teams just, again, some of it is luck, but most of it is just organizational success. It starts with having a sturdy, functional, high efficiency organization. And that's what the Patriots have been. So even in the midst of dysfunction, when they were transitioning away from Belichick and trying to figure out what was next, and it got a little funky and murky there with Drake Maye, they didn't stay down long. Packers always have an exit strategy, whether it's from exiting from Favre to Rodgers or Rodgers to Love. They just never fell off, right? Some organizations just get it. Ravens seamlessly transition from Flacco to Lamar Jackson. They just keep the party going, right? The Steelers still don't have a quarterback. Still don't have a quarterback. Mike Tomlin wins at least 9 games every year. And look, I'm not saying that you want to be that team because they never have a shot to win the Super Bowl. They're just going to always be in the mix to make the playoffs. But at least they don't have to endure the shit that we are enduring right now, where your season's done before Thanksgiving. Shout out to the Patriots for figuring this shit out, getting it right, and putting them back to where, their fans are used to being. Must be nice. Must be nice. Anyway, I digress. That's going to do it for me, your man Louie T, here on Thursday Night Football Overtime. I look forward to chopping it up with you guys tomorrow for Commanders Nightly News. I think, I'll definitely have my LTN kickback session tomorrow for the exclusives. And I think everything else will be Saturday. The skill game for the Sunday night game, for the Commanders game, all that will be on Saturday. So looking forward to chopping it up with you guys then. But until then, I'm your man, Louie T, signing off. You guys have a great night. Take care. Peace.